Welcome back to Wake Up to Wellness with Tosca Reno's The Eat Clean Diet. And Tosca, I'm so excited to have you here today. Please tell everybody about you.
Able to spread the good word about eat. Seems a little silly that we have to discuss how to eat, but we've gotten away from doing a good job of it. And there's never before been such a crisis in North America, as you know, with health, particularly eating the wrong kinds of food. So my story began 12 years ago when I was an overweight, unhealthy, unhappy, purposeless woman. Yes, I was the mother of three, setting a very poor example. I started with what most of us start with, which is exercising on a pair of shoes to go walk or run.
Exactly.
And that was part of it, but when I learned how to eat clean, it was as if the magic finally arrived, and all of a sudden the stress and the struggle about how to lose weight really disappeared, and it suddenly became easy.
Exactly.
Because eating clean really is about just eating unprocessed, healthy, nutrient-dense whole foods that build the body up instead of break the body down. And I lost enormous amounts of I've now written 15 books, one of which is a New York Times best-selling book title, and I've been on loads of TV shows and have my own show. What can I say? It's kind of an exciting ride.
Yeah, and Tosca, what's so interesting for me is, my husband and I have been in practice in Bel Air, Maryland for the last 13 years, and I can't tell you how many people come into our practice and they always think that it's a hitch in their get along, meaning that it's just something that they did, something they picked up, bending over, brushing their teeth. The reality is, it's not a back problem. It's a health problem.
It's a health problem.
It's a health problem. And we're seeing right now, people are spending the most money on so-called health care, but it's actually sick care. And what I'm so grateful and thankful about having you on today, you are a person, but when you started off, you were just on the street. You're an everyday person.
That's right.
And I almost envision you coming into our practice, filling out our new patient form, and sitting there and saying, this is happening and that's happening. But oftentimes people will say, it's a part of my life. I've got it under control. And they're taking the latest pill, powder, lotion, supposedly, health aid for something even bigger. And what I'm hearing you tell me is you just flat out changed your life.
Well, I did, and even in the face of being told, physician, listen, you're probably going to want to take some anti-anxiety medication. You're not going to be able to deal with the stress. I said, no, thanks, I'm going to the gym. And they looked at me like, wow, I hear that response about once a year.
Right.
But it truly was my salvation. And the gym was just a part of my own healthcare renovation that helped me tone up lost weight in, because you can lose weight by work beautifully because it's rebuilding health or taking responsibility for yourself. But you do have to do a little work in the gym to kind of tighten things up again, understood. But it does, from a diabetes point of view, the muscles are known as the glucose sink. So when you eat any kind and grains, the muscle, you train them, eat up glucose like crazy.
In a perfect world, to see that we're not only, people who take care of our family, but the person that takes care of herself first, family. But what things that moms can do to start to head down the path of eating clean?
Well, the first indication about sugar, I think there is nothing so heinous and dangerous as the so-called food that we call sugar. It isn't really a food. It's a man-made in what we eat or drink. To learn how to identify where we need to understand that. I like to put it this way to young children and families. If you have a pet and his favorite food is, let's say, liver treats, he'll love to eat those and will never stop eating them. Cancer loves sugar in the same way, and it will never stop eating sugar. So as long as we keep giving our bodies sugar, we're giving cancer the chance to thrive. Dangerous it is to us and our health. And it's in so many places, it's almost insidious. You just have to be a detective and make a game of it and learn how to find it, and then just together begin the process of tasting foods in a new way. Like, wow, I didn't know that green beans actually had a sweet flavor, or that a Brussels sprout, when you roasted it, tastes divine, and it's going to be a little bit of a battle, but listen, the parents are the ones who are driving the wellness bus in your house, right? You got the keys. You can either go in the right direction or the wrong. It's up to you. And it begins on the grocery store shelves. It begins with what you're bringing home.
Yeah, I
and
love
it begins
that.
with the examples that parents are setting.
Exactly, the wellness bus. And, in our quality of life workshops, we do workshops every single week, and I'm out in the community speaking. And oftentimes people will say to me that they can't afford to buy good foods for their family. And what I'm here to say is they can't afford not to buy good things for their family.
Right.
And when I go into the grocery store, I notice, because I want people to be healthy and well naturally, that in that grocery cart, I see boxes, packages, processed food. And, and you start to go into genetically modified foods. That 60% of the food that's on that grocery store shelves right now in those center aisles are genetically modified.
Yep.
My bedstand. And before I go to bed, I read through Sight, Nature, and Journey, because my husband, Dr. Evan R. Christman, myself, we see it all the time. We focus on children with learning differences and autism, but also families.
So sad.
And the reality is, what I see is that it's lifestyle. And many people will sit and tell me, well, you know what, it's just my genetics. This Harvard research study came out within the last year or so, and it stated that 15 to 20% is genetics. That's how much it plays a role in our health. The rest is our lifestyle. So what I'm hearing from you is that this is really a lifestyle approach that you're teaching women when they buy your book, The Eat Clean Diet, and the many other, books that you have out there, from recipes and on up. They can actually learn ways to not only be lean and healthy, full of energy, but how to actually feed their families and their children. What do you think about that?
The books are meant to be empowering, each one of them, from the Eat Clean Diet to the Eat Clean Diet for Men, Eat Clean Diet for Families and Kids, and so on. Each of these books it embraces the philosophy that it's got to be easy for you and me to do this every day. I don't have a personal chef. I don't have a personal trainer. It's me in the kitchen. It's me doing the groceries. And I want to make the approach so simple that it feels as if I've got my arm around your shoulder and I'm helping you to make these choices. And we don't stop there, because we have the ToscaReno.com site samples, and we also have the Eat Clean Diet, where we have a very strong community of women who support each other through the journey of eating clean, learning how to do it and putting it into play in your everyday home and lifestyle.
Isn't that great? So they could do, is there a meal that you love the best that tell them where they could go to find it on your books?
I don't know if I could narrow it down to one, but I could tell you that the idea of removing sugar from your diet and displacing those anti-foods with healthy, solid, in-season foods it just makes your food preparation so easy, and it cuts your food bill at the same time. In my part of the country right now, we're getting ready for winter, so root vegetables and apples and all sorts of in-season, sort of cold weather fruits and vegetables are in season, and you can't buy anything that's more nutritionally dense or cheaper. So season guide what's on my table. Tonight, for example, I'm doing roasted Brussels sprouts with baby onions that are roasted right along with it, and just huge heads of garlic.
Yum.
And then I squeeze that garlic out onto my sweet potato, and I'm going to be grilling chicken breast, and it's just so easy. It's Mother Nature didn't make it difficult for us to eat. That's not what she wanted. We've made it difficult for ourselves.
Yeah, God, that was such a huge statement, that Mother Nature made it easy for us to eat. We're making it difficult for ourselves. Wow.
Yep.
Isn't that the truth? And so I got to say that this is so exciting, because at the end of the day, if we could start to not only empower people to eat well and to eat clean, their health would thrive in such a way that it would be absolutely amazing. And the children would be making such good food choices, because, the choices and decisions we make now, they affect 7 generations ahead of us.
Sadly, that's absolutely true, and so your choice can create positiveness and purpose or not. And unfortunately, for the first time in history, we are seeing that children may not live the long, healthy lives their parents did, simply because we're just making these. And we shouldn't be blaming either. I mean, we're sort of duped by the food industry because we went right along with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Exactly.
get out, educate yourself, learn, join blogs, groups, read magazines, really, really begin to sort of take your power back, because that's where it lives, in your hands, in your heart, in your grocery cart.
Isn't that the truth? And so if we were to end on just, if you had that ability, because I know for me, I have a big vision. I know that I am here to empower people to be healthy and well naturally. I know exactly how I want this to plan out so that I can take the education that my husband and I have learned to empower other people to be healthy. Somebody out there ate the Eat Clean diet, learned really great ways to take care of themselves, honored themselves. How would that look for you, our health future?
How it works for me is all of us marching together, eating clean, one mouthful at a time, and not being a burden, a health burden to society. Not thinking, as you suggested, when your patients come in, that being in pain or being unable to move is the way of life. That's not the way we were created. We were meant to move and run and take our place in life full of purpose and health. And that's what I envision as the big plan of how it ought to look.
That is great. And I just want to say thank you. I'm so grateful and thankful for you. I know that, our listeners and our practice would just be so excited. Message. Clean Diet, the books are absolutely amazing. Tell us here, how can they not only go out and buy your books, how can they reach you? How can they be a part of this community that you've set up on the eatcleandiet.com site? I mean, how can they be a part of what you're doing?
Okay, so you can come visit me at toscareno.com, and there's a blog there and lots of other interesting aspects to the website. You can buy books there. And also you can go to eatcleandiet.com, and that's where the kitchen table is, which is our online community, and we have also social media like Twitter and Facebook. It's a very robust community and lots of fun going on. We have tons of success stories, men and women alike, even kids and families. So I'd love to hear from anyone who's wanting to be guided back to health.